Colorado Buffaloes quarterback Shedeur Sanders gets the last laugh at Brayden Fowler-Nicolosi of Colorado State for taking a dig at Shedeur Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes before the game tipped off. But before we get off into today's podcast, tell a friend to tell a friend. Well, the college football season is 3 weeks in, and Colorado Buffaloes is still under the microscope. Everything they do gets scrutinized, but this is what I have a problem with. Teams and coaches, they can take shots at Colorado in the pregame build-up to the game. But as soon as somebody from Colorado does the same and gets their get back, there's a problem. Now, we all know how Jason Whitlock feels about Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes, even the Sanders children. You know, back in the past, he has said some derogatory remarks about Shedeur. He said some derogatory remarks about Shiloh and some remarks about Bucky, Deion Jr. You know what Deion Sanders brings to the table. And he's been a harsh critic of Deion Sanders. Says Deion Sanders is running a circus out there in Colorado. We all know last year when he jumped on the scene, it was a national media spectacle. Had all the athletes and the rappers. Everybody wanted to be on the sideline. You know, all the games in Folsom Field was sold out. And Colorado had the college football season in an uproar. Everybody wanted to focus in to watch Colorado play. And when they started out 3-0, they didn't disappoint. And then they finished out the season, you know, on a downslide, finishing 4-8. But coming into this season, it's been more news. You know, Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes, they retooled that whole offensive line, bringing in the big fish, Jordan Seaton, and, you know, 5 new starters on that offensive line. Revamping the defense. They got playmakers. They brought in guys on the offensive side like LeJontay Wester. He's exciting. He's like the human pinball. Shedeur Sanders still has his weapons in Travis Hunter and Jimmy Horn Jr. You know, Dylan Edwards, he's left, you know, in the transfer portal to go on to greener pastures. But Colorado, the knock on them the first 2 games is they still don't have a running game. First game, they got by. You know, their first game, they got to win. Second game against Nebraska, they got Cornhusk. You know, no pun intended. And then the third game against Colorado State, they got off the snide, winning 28-9. So we all recall what happened last year when Colorado and Colorado State played in-state rivalry. And Blackburn hit Travis Hunter, and Travis Hunter was out for 3 to 4 games, which kind of put Colorado in a downslide. So now leading up to the game last week, this past Saturday, it was a lot of talk from the quarterback from Colorado State, Brayden Fowler-Nicolosi, and his teammate, the receiver number 14, which everybody recalls when Shiloh picked that ball off last year and ran 80 yards. Number 14 was chasing from behind and got the unsportsmanlike, you know, penalty in the end zone on the late hit on Shiloh after he had already crossed the goal line. So, you know, temperatures are already at high. So coming into this game, you know, they had a lot to say. And we're going to take a listen to what he had to say pregame, and then we're going to follow that up with what Shedeur Sanders had to say after the game, after they won 28-9. But in that game, Shedeur Sanders just basically outplayed him. Shedeur was 36 of 49 for 310 yards, 4 TDs. Brayden Fowler, you know, Nicolosi, he was 22 for 39, 209 yards. He had 2 interceptions. Now, you saw what Travis Hunter brought to the table. He's, you know, off to a remarkable start in this year. He had another 13 receptions, 100 yards, 2 TDs. Also, he had a pick. And then what happened on the sideline one time, Brayden Fowler-Nicolosi was running, got knocked out of bounds and gave the too small symbol to Travis Hunter, which Deion Sanders, went to the post-game press conference and said, why would he do that? And, Jason Whitlock is, always on Deion's, like saying they're classless and, it's just terrible what Jason Whitlock goes on to say about this Colorado Buffaloes football team alongside with Deion Sanders and the Sanders kids. So basically, let's take a listen to what Brayden Fowler-Nicolosi had to say before the game, and then let's see how that ended up after the game with Shedeur Sanders responding to what he said pregame about Shedeur Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes. So let's take a listen.
They saw the reports, 27.5 points or whatever it was. And they got a rude awakening real quick. And I think it goes to show that the hype, the media train, all that, it only gets you so far. At the end of the day, you have to line up 11 guys against our 11 guys, and we'll find out who wants it more. And we'll see how far Instagram followers gets them.
We all came here to play football. So at the end of the day, the millions of followers and fans that they then produced and got, and celebrities that then jumped on their side because of who Deion Sanders is, at the end of the day, Deion Sanders ain't playing. It's those players playing. So.
You that same talking shit on Instagram. You talking on Instagram.
All right, keep talking about
business. You can't fuck with me.
Now, see, everybody has made an issue about Shedeur Sanders not shaking his hand. But Shedeur Sanders was standing on business. He just wanted to go up to him and let him know you was talking all that smack on Instagram and then the pregame, but Colorado handled their business. They got out with a win, 28-9. Shedeur outplayed Fowler-Nicolosi, and I think Nicolosi was salty. But he was trying to come up to shake Shedeur's hand, but Shedeur wasn't having none of it. And a lot of people have come to criticize Shedeur for treating him like that. Now, see, that's the problem, man. See, they can do anything they want to Colorado players in that nature, and certain media outlets and certain media people have no problem with that. But as soon as one of the Sanders or Deion responds to the negativity thrown their way, then there's a problem. I don't think Shedeur Sanders did nothing wrong. I mean, he stood on business. All he said is, hey, you did all that talking on Instagram and in pregame, and we came out and handled our business. And then there also is another clip of Shedeur, in the locker room talking about, we handled our business, we took care of business, and we still getting more Instagram followers. See, that's the problem, because a lot of these people, just because of the Deion Sanders namesake, everybody thinks, people are following them just because of Deion Sanders. Well, in a sense, maybe there's some out there like that, but not all. But these people are making these, accusations and all this pregame stuff that builds up to the game. And then when they get humbled, a lot of media pundits like Jason Whitlock and people like that have a problem with it. So, Jason Whitlock dropped a video talking about, they're classless and clueless. You know what I'm saying? It's always a narrative that he tries to push toward Deion Sanders, and then he tried to take a shot at Shedeur for the way Shedeur acted after the game. I don't think Shedeur did anything wrong. I think Shedeur did what he was supposed to do as the leader of the Colorado Buffaloes. He's the quarterback. He's standing on business. He got the job done. He outplayed Brayden Fowler-Nicolosi, and also he told him, you can't mess with me. And that's just the bottom line. And Shedeur is one of the top-rated quarterbacks in college right now, and he just went out there and handled his business. It's 2 years in a row that Colorado has beat their in-state nemesis, Colorado State. And I think a lot of people are upset about that, and a lot of people, they want to see Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes falter. They don't want them to see them go far. But Deion vowed to say that we're going to make this 12-team playoff, man. Yeah, they got stomped by Nebraska, but they picked up the pieces last week and got a much-needed win. And then they just got to keep it going on. Now you see all the talks now leading up to this Baylor game. You see all the talks. See, everybody can talk about Colorado, but as soon as Colorado fires back, everybody has a problem. But you guys, let me know what y'all think down in the comments section. Do y'all think Shedeur Sanders was wrong, or was he right? I think he stood on business. And that's going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. We're going to catch you on the next one. Deuces. And remember, before you leave and put your shoes on, do me a favor. Give this video a thumbs up. Make sure if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Turn on your post notifications so you know every time Simply Ball Dropping drops another hot banger. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.